It started with a single crack in the mirror, barely noticeable at first, just a thin, jagged line running through the center of my bathroom mirror. I only saw it because the overhead light caught it at the right angle. I frowned, stepping closer, running my fingers over the surface. It was smooth, no indent, no roughness, just a crack that shouldn't be there. I had no memory of breaking it, no impact, no stray object hitting it, nothing, just a crack, spider thin but unmistakable. I told myself it was nothing. Mirrors weaken over time, right? Maybe the temperature fluctuations caused it. Maybe it was always there, and I just hadn't noticed. I didn't think about it again, not until the next morning. When I woke up, the crack had grown. It branched out, stretching in multiple directions, like veins running across the glass. More unsettling, I swore I could hear something faint coming from the bathroom. Not dripping water, not the hum of the fan. Something softer, like a distant, muffled breath. I hesitated before stepping in. The mirror was the first thing I checked. The crack had definitely spread. It no longer looked random. The branches had taken on an odd symmetry, like something was pushing outward from the other side. My stomach twisted. I pressed my palm flat against the glass. Still smooth. Still no sign of an actual break. Then a whisper, right behind me. I spun around so fast, I nearly tripped over the sink. Nothing. Just the empty bathroom. My heart pounded against my ribs. My throat was dry. I told myself it was stress. Lack of sleep. My mind playing tricks on me. I should have left the apartment that day. I should have smashed the mirror and thrown it away. But I didn't. And that night, it got worse. I woke at 2:33 a.m. to an unnatural silence. It wasn't the comforting stillness of night. It was the kind of silence that presses against your ears, like something is muting the world around you. I turned over, blinking at the ceiling. Then, crack. A sharp sound like ice splitting. I shot up in bed. The sound had come from the bathroom. I didn't want to get up. Every instinct screamed at me to stay under the covers, to ignore it, to pretend it wasn't real. But I couldn't. My legs carried me to the bathroom before my brain could tell me no. I flicked on the light. The mirror was still cracked, but something was wrong. The pattern had changed. It no longer looked like shattered glass. It looked like a face. Faint, obscured, but undeniably human. I stepped back, ball rising in my throat. The crack was changing on its own. I squeezed my eyes shut. It wasn't possible. It wasn't real. When I opened them again, the face was gone. But the cracks were worse, and the silence was deafening. I backed out of the bathroom, flicked off the light, and shut the door. I barely slept that night, and when I did, I dreamed of broken glass and hollow whispers. The next morning, I avoided the bathroom mirror. I brushed my teeth in the kitchen sink, got dressed in the dim light of my bedroom, and left for work without looking at my reflection once. I told myself it was fine. I told myself I was overreacting. But deep down I knew something was wrong, and by that night, I couldn't ignore it anymore. It started with the reflection in my TV screen. I was scrolling through my phone, trying to distract myself, when I noticed it, a shape in the screen's black reflection. A man, standing in the doorway behind me. I froze. A chill raced down my spine. I turned my head, nothing. Just my empty apartment. I forced myself to look back at the TV. The figure was still there, standing just behind me. My stomach dropped. I launched myself off the couch, spinning to face the doorway. Again, nothing. Just silence. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking. I grabbed my TV remote and turned the screen off. I refused to look at any reflections for the rest of the night. I didn't check my phone screen, didn't glance at windows, and I certainly didn't go near the bathroom mirror. But I could feel it, even when I wasn't looking. Something watching, something waiting. At midnight, the knocking started. At first, I thought it was my upstairs neighbor. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Then silence. A minute passed. Then 3 more knocks. It sounded closer. I sat up in bed, heart hammering. Then a 3rd set of knocks. Right outside my bedroom door. I stopped breathing. I stared at the door, my pulse thundering in my ears. There was no shadow beneath it. No footsteps. Just knocking. Then, finally, a voice. Low. Hollow. Come look at the mirror. I clamped a hand over my mouth, stifling a scream. The air around me felt thick. My skin burned with the sheer wrongness of it. I stayed frozen. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Then a click. My bathroom door just unlocked itself. The handle twisted, and the door slowly creaked open. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But I didn't. Because in the darkness of my bathroom, through the open door, I saw something move. And it was waiting for me. The bathroom door was open. I don't remember leaving it that way. The mirror sat in the darkness, the cracked glass barely catching the dim glow from the hallway. But something moved in it. Not a reflection, not a trick of the light. Something inside the mirror. A slow, deliberate shift, like a figure lurking just beyond the glass, shifting in the shadows. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Then the whisper, low, barely audible, yet unmistakable. Come closer. My blood turned to ice. I turned away instantly, bolting back to my bed and yanking the covers over me like a terrified child. I knew it was still there. I could feel it, watching, waiting. The room was silent, except for the sound of my ragged breathing. Then crack, a sharp, splintering noise. I clenched my teeth, squeezing my eyes shut. I knew where it was coming from. The mirror. The cracks were spreading. I didn't sleep that night. I lay frozen, heart pounding, trying to ignore the feeling that the moment I dared to look, I'd see something standing at the foot of my bed. By morning, I convinced myself it was just my imagination. Sleep deprivation, stress, maybe even a waking nightmare. But when I finally forced myself into the bathroom, my stomach turned. The cracks in the mirror had grown. Before, they had looked random. Now, they weren't. They were shaped. A jagged, splintered outline of a person. A long, hollow face. A sharp, angular body. Like something was pushing against the other side of the glass, trying to break through. I stumbled backward, my breath coming in short gasps. This wasn't normal. This wasn't just a broken mirror. Something was wrong. The worst part? For the briefest moment, just a second, I swore I saw the cracks move. Like they were breathing. I couldn't stay in that apartment any longer. I left for work an hour early, refusing to look in any reflective surface on my way out. But the feeling of being watched never left me. Even in my office, surrounded by people, I felt it. A constant weight. A presence. And that night, it followed me home. I almost convinced myself I had imagined the entire thing. Until my TV turned on by itself. It was off when I came home. I was sure of it. But at exactly 11:47 p.m., it flickered to life. At first, just static. Then a reflection. Not of my apartment. Of something else. A dark, empty room. A cracked mirror, and a figure standing in front of it. I couldn't make out the details, just the vague outline of a tall, angular body, its limbs too long, too thin. Then it moved, not like a normal reflection. It stepped forward. I lunged for the remote, fumbling to turn the TV off, my hands shaking. The screen went black, but my relief was short-lived, because in the glossy surface of the TV screen, I saw something standing behind me. I turned so fast I nearly tripped. Nothing, but the silence in my apartment was heavy, like the air itself was watching me. I didn't sleep that night, either. At 3:12 a.m., I heard it, a slow, deliberate scratching sound, coming from the bathroom. Nope. No, I wasn't going in there. I lay frozen, staring at my bedroom door, every nerve in my body screaming to stay put. Then, the whisper came again, closer this time. Come look. I clenched my fists. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. The scratching grew louder, more frantic. Something was inside that mirror, and it wanted out. I didn't move, didn't answer, didn't breathe. Then the bathroom door creaked open. I wanted to run. I wanted to scream, but I was paralyzed. Then, just as suddenly as it started, the noises stopped. Silence. For minutes, I didn't move. Then, gathering every ounce of courage I had, I forced myself to get up. I stepped into the hallway. The bathroom door was wide open. The mirror was shattered, but the pieces weren't on the floor. They were inside the sink, like something had broken it from the other side. And in the largest shard, still hanging from the frame, I saw the reflection of a figure standing behind me. The reflection stood behind me. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. It was taller than me, thinner, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, as if it were studying me. Waiting. I wanted to turn around. But something inside me screamed, don't, because deep down I knew there would be nothing there. The only place it existed was inside the mirror. And that was worse. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to take a slow, shuddering breath. The figure in the mirror didn't move, but I knew it could. I knew it was going to. And then, just as I stepped back, it lunged forward. A sudden, jerking motion, its hands slamming against the glass. I stumbled away, my foot catching on the rug. My body hit the floor with a sickening thud, knocking the air from my lungs. I gasped, scrambling backward, eyes locked on the mirror. The figure was gone. The glass was still cracked, still broken, but there was nothing there. And that terrified me more than anything. Because if it wasn't in the mirror anymore, then where was it? I barely slept that night. Every noise in the apartment made me jolt upright, heart pounding. I locked the bathroom door. Then I shoved a chair under my bedroom door handle, as if that would stop. Whatever this was, by morning, I convinced myself I had imagined it. Sleep deprivation, stress, maybe even some kind of hallucination. But as I stepped into the bathroom, my stomach dropped. The mirror had healed itself. The cracks were gone. The glass was smooth and whole, as if it had never been broken in the first place. No, 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 no. That wasn't possible. I stumbled backward, nearly slipping on the tile. Then I heard it, a single, sharp sound. Glass breaking. Not from the bathroom, from the living room. I turned slowly. The TV screen was shattered. Cracks splintered across the surface, jagged and sharp, just like the mirror had been. And in those cracks, I saw a reflection that wasn't mine. I didn't go to work that day. I sat in the kitchen, staring at my phone, trying to decide whether I was losing my mind or if I needed to leave immediately. But some horrible curiosity inside me whispered, stay, see what happens next. So I did. The apartment was silent for hours. Until midnight. That's when I heard it. The softest, faintest sound. Tapping. Rhythmic. slow, coming from every reflective surface in the apartment. The bathroom mirror, the broken TV screen, the microwave door, even the glass on the framed pictures hanging on my wall. All of them tapping, a slow, deliberate knocking, like fingers drumming against the glass. I cover my ears. No, no, no. Then, the whisper, closer than before. So close it felt like it was right next to me. Let me in. I bolted. I grabbed my car keys and ran out the door, down the hallway, out into the night. I didn't stop until I was behind the wheel of my car, panting, hands shaking. The silence of the night felt deafening. Then tap, tap, tap. My breath caught. The rearview mirror. I didn't want to look. I had to. And when I did, I saw my reflection smiling back at me. But I wasn't smiling. I slammed my foot on the gas. I don't remember the drive. Just a sheer blind panic. I checked into the first motel I found. The room was small, outdated, but there were no mirrors, no TVs, just a single, dull light bulb buzzing overhead. I collapsed onto the bed, still trembling. Sleep clawed at my brain, exhaustion overwhelming the terror. I thought I was safe, until I woke up at exactly 3:12 a.m. to a sound that made my stomach drop. Glass breaking, not from the motel room, from inside my head, like a memory, no, a sensation of something shattering, something coming through. I turned over, heart pounding. The motel room had a small vanity mirror attached to the desk, and in its reflection, I saw something standing beside the bed. Long limbs, a crooked head, hollow, empty eyes. I barely had time to react before it moved. Not in the mirror, in the room. And then, the last thing I remember before everything went black, it reached for me. The moment I opened my eyes, I knew something was wrong. I wasn't in the motel anymore. I was somewhere else. At first, it looked like my apartment, but it wasn't. The walls were too smooth. The air was too still. And every surface, every inch of the floor, the ceiling, the furniture was covered in one thing. Glass. Not shattered. Not broken. Just mirrors. The entire room was made of reflective surfaces. I turned in a slow circle, panic tightening my throat. There was no door, no way out. And the worst part? Every single reflection I saw wasn't mine. I took a step forward, and my reflection stayed still. Another step. It didn't move. Then, one by one, the reflections started to shift, turning their heads toward me. A silent, unnatural motion, like dolls being repositioned. Their faces weren't clear, just shadows where eyes should be, blurry grins stretching wider than humanly possible. I clenched my fists, forcing myself to breathe. This isn't real. But my voice, when I whispered it aloud, echoed, not just in the air, from the mirrors, all of them, repeating my word a fraction of a second after I spoke them. My chest tightened. Then, in the reflection directly across from me, one of them moved forward. Not me, not a mirror trick. Something inside the glass stepped toward me. I staggered back, heart hammering. The figure was getting closer, but I wasn't moving. I turned quickly and realized with a gut-wrenching jolt, every single reflection was stepping forward. At the same time, in perfect, unnatural synchronization, my breath came in short gasps. No, no, no. Then, the sound of shattering glass. I whipped around. One of the mirrors had cracked. Thin, jagged lines splintering across its surface and behind the cracks. I saw an eye, not mine, watching. Then another mirror cracked, and another, one by one. Every reflection started to break apart, like something was trying to push through. I stumbled backward. I have to wake up. I have to wake up. But I wasn't asleep. I was trapped. A sharp crack echoed through the air, and the first mirror collapsed inward. Not outward. Not like glass breaking toward me. It sucked itself in, the shards disappearing into the dark. I swallowed hard, fighting the wave of nausea threatening to overtake me. Then, something stepped out of the broken glass. Not a reflection. Not me. It was the thing that had been following me. Tall, twisted, its limbs too long, its skin too pale, and its mouth too wide, like it had been carved open. A silent, gaping expression grinning at me. The mirrors behind it rippled, like water disturbed by movement. More cracks formed. More shadows shifted. It was opening the way. And then it spoke. A voice that didn't belong to me, but echoed inside my skull. You left the door open. My stomach dropped. What door? And then I remembered the night the first mirror cracked. The knocking. The whispering. The way I had stayed in the apartment, listening. I had been too curious. I had let it in. I turned, desperate, searching for something, anything, to wake me up. If this was a nightmare, there had to be a way out. If this was real, then I was already dead. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something new. A single, unbroken mirror, different from the others. It was brighter. The surface didn't ripple. It didn't reflect the twisted things around me. It reflected my real apartment. I ran toward it, and behind me, they ran too. Silent, jerking movements. The sound of bare feet slapping against glass. Of something too fast, too wrong chasing me. I reached the mirror and slammed my hands against it. It was solid. No, 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 no. I turned. The things were so close. Their faces stretching. Their fingers reaching for me. I screamed. And at the last possible second, the mirror shattered. For a split second, I was weightless. Then I hit the floor hard. Pain shot through my ribs, my shoulder. The air rushed from my lungs. My ears were ringing. I blinked once, twice, vision swimming. I was back in my apartment. The bathroom mirror was shattered. A million tiny shards covering the floor. But the room was silent. No footsteps. No whispers. No reflections that weren't mine. I was back. I was alone. And for a long, long time, I just lay there, staring at the broken glass, waiting for something to move. When I finally stood up, my body ached like I had been hit by a truck. I checked every mirror, every reflective surface. Nothing. The apartment felt normal again. For the first time in days, I thought maybe, just maybe it was over. But then, as I turned to leave the bathroom, I saw it. One single piece of broken glass on the floor, the size of my palm. And in its reflection, I saw the tall, grinning thing standing right behind me. To be concluded, I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The broken shard of glass lay on the floor, barely the size of my palm, but in its reflection, I saw it, standing right behind me. Tall, twisted, a grin too wide, too unnatural. I knew if I turned around, I would see nothing. Because it wasn't in this world. It was in the glass. It was waiting. And for the first time, I realized it didn't want to kill me. It wanted to replace me. Slowly, I lowered my gaze back to the shard. It was grinning, not moving, not breathing, just watching. I took a single, shaking breath. Then it tilted its head. My reflection moved, but I hadn't. I stumbled back, heart slamming against my ribs. The piece of glass wobbled, then before I could react, it flipped itself over. Face down, like something inside had grabbed it and turned it. I didn't pick it up. I didn't dare. I backed out of the bathroom, forcing myself to breathe. And when I glanced at the larger shards on the floor, I saw them moving too, one by one, flipping over, hiding their reflections. I didn't sleep that night. I barely breathed. I turned every mirror, every reflective surface face down, covered the windows with bed sheets. But I still felt it, watching. When I walked past my TV, the screen, which was off, shimmered for just a second. Not with my reflection, but I saw a flicker of that horrible grin before I turned away. Every night, it got worse. The bathroom mirror replaced itself. I swear to God, I had shattered it, thrown every last piece into the garbage, taped cardboard over the space. But the next morning, it was back, unbroken, like it had never shattered at all. I should have left. I should have packed my things and burned the apartment to the ground. But I didn't, because I thought if I just ignored it, it would stop. I was wrong. 3 nights later, I heard the knocking. Not from the door, not from the walls, from the mirror. A soft, deliberate tap. 3 times, like it was waiting for me to answer. I sat on the bed, covers pulled up to my chin, not breathing. Then a voice, my voice, whispering from the other side. Let me out. The air left my lungs. I just want to trade places. No. No. You don't need to be scared. I wasn't listening. I squeezed my eyes shut, curled into myself. And then the knocking got louder, and louder, and louder, until the glass shattered again. I don't remember what happened after that. I woke up on my bathroom floor, cold, sweating. The mirror was gone. Not shattered, gone. Like the wall had never had one in the first place. And everything was quiet. At first, I thought it's over. The nightmare is done. Until I walked past my hallway mirror. And I didn't see myself. My reflection was gone. Not twisted. Not grinning. Just missing. Like I wasn't real anymore. Or like maybe I was the reflection all along. Maybe I was never the one who made it out. Maybe the thing in the mirror took my place. And now, I'm trapped on the other side, watching, waiting, and maybe, just maybe, one day, you'll hear a soft, deliberate knock on your mirror. 3 times, and a whisper in your own voice, let me out.